countless centuries, mankind has imagined horrors beyond imagination, conjuring horrific monsters, spooky ghoulies, and ghastly figures across many cultures and religions. With how different each of these unstoppable forces of nature is, it's hard to think that any of them could have any similarities at all. Or is it? Fenrir, the Awizolt, and the Wendigo all originated from different cultures, beliefs, and time periods.
So, how can they even be similar if they are completely different monsters?
Oh dear viewer, they share a lot more similarities than you can think of. As we explore each fear and the values they represent, we'll figure out how similar they truly are. Fenrir has been one of the most feared creatures in Norse mythology. Fenrir originates from the 13th chapter of the Proseda book. He is one of the 3 children of Loki, the trickster god. Loki would try and hide his children from the other gods, due to them being prophesied to bring Ragnarok, the end of the world.
Did it work?
Oh god no. This is Loki we're talking about. The gods immediately found out and sent Jormungand and Hel away. Although, for Fenrir, the gods decided to adopt him, hoping that showing him compassion and care, that maybe he wouldn't turn into a wild beast. But as time wore on, Fenrir kept growing and getting stronger. It got to a point where most Aesir were afraid of Fenrir. To quell the gods' fears, they would trick Fenrir. They pretended to play a game where they tied big, strong chains around him and challenged him to get out of it.
Did it actually work?
Nope, he broke out of the chains 2 separate times.
So what did they do?
Well, if you shut the hell up and listen, you'd know that the gods hired the help of the dwarves to forge a magical ribbon called Gleipnir, made from these ingredients. They played the same game again and successfully tied up Fenrir. Fenrir was rightfully pissed and bit off one of the gods' hands. To add insult to injury, the gods would pierce Fenrir's mouth with a giant sword to stop him from snapping at them. The gods would abandon Fenrir, never to see him again. Well, that is, until Ragnarok came about. That's where Fenrir would eat Odin and Odin's son, Vidar, slave him. The tale of Fenrir shows many fears and values of the Norse's time, such as the more practical fear of being attacked or slain by feral animals, particularly wolves. But the tale emphasizes the values of trust and criticizes betrayal and trying to change destiny. As we see, the gods betraying Fenrir furthered the prophecy of Ragnarok, leading to the death of Odin and the end of the world. The Arvitsodal is a feared creature in the Aztec world. The creature originates from the 11th book of the Florentine Codex. It is described as resembling a small dog, with a long slick body, short pointed ears, dark colored skin, fur which clumps into spikes on its back, raccoon-like paws, and most distinctively, a humanoid hand attached at the end of its tail. The Arvitsodal inhabits the deep and dark bodies in lakes, rivers, and watery caverns. The creature has many different ways of hunting its victims. One way is by stalking the victims who are close by its watery lair. Once it sees an opportunity, it'll strike. It quickly grabs the victim with its tail hand and drags them into the water, drowning them. Another way the monster hunts its victims is if there are fishermen around. The creature would then disturb the waters, causing a sudden uproar of fish. With the sudden abundance of fishes, the fishermen would go into the water and try to catch as many as they could. As the fishermen are trying to catch the fish, the Arvitsodal strikes, dragging them underwater and drowning them in the same manner. The last, and disturbing, way it hunts is when a passerby is near its lair. The Arvitsodal starts to mimic a baby crying. This would cause the passerby to become concerned and go investigate near the water where the crying is coming from. That is when the monster strikes and kills the victim in the same way. Unfortunately, that isn't the most unnerving part about this beast. What the demon leaves behind is surly, grotesque. The victims' bodies would be found without any of their eyes, teeth, or nails, the extremities of which were consumed by the Arvitsodal. It has been told the families and children of the victim would be cursed, prophesied to also die by drowning at some point in the future. The bodies of the victims would also be cursed, used as a luring tactic of the Awizot. When a person attempted to retrieve the body, they too would be drowned. The only way for the victim's body to be recovered safely is for the priest to retrieve it, his relation to the gods protecting him. The cautionary tale of the Awizotl shows many fears and values of the Aztec time. The main one being the fear of drowning, warning children to not wander off near water and to be safe. It can also be interpreted that the fisherman's greed of having more than needed supply of fishes can lead to their watery demise. An emphasis on being humble and not take too much from the environment. The Wendigo has been a popular monster with modern-day horror enthusiasts, as well as a feared creature within the Native American culture. The Wendigo is said to have originated with the Algonquin-speaking tribes, deriving from northeastern America and Canada, and also parts of the Midwest. The monster is described as to be an extremely tall humanoid figure, estimated to be 15 feet tall, having an emaciated body build, sunken glowing eyes, missing lips, it being chewed off, and also significantly sharp and yellowed fangs and claws.
Isn't the Wendigo supposed to have a deer skull or antlers?
Ahem. As it turns out, no. The detail was never mentioned in the original tellings of the tale. That was a modern iteration of the creature. The first modern description came from the 1910 novel, The Wendigo, by Algernon Blackwood, a famed horror writer. It was later popularized by Matt Fox, when he drew a depiction of it in 1944, cementing that popular design. Anyways, the Wendigo's abilities are truly frightening. It is said that they have extremely good eyesight, heightened hearing, and impeccable sense of smell. It moves easily through snow, ice, and treetops at a breakneck speed. It is allegedly said to cause rough snowstorms, causing its victims to be lost in the woods if they stray too far from their tribe. The Wendigo is described as an evil spirit rather than a physical creature, preying upon vulnerable people, possessing them. How a person could be possessed is if they have inner turmoil, either religiously or mentally, are selfish or gluttonous, greedy and take more than what they need, or worst of all, committing the act of cannibalism on another person out of starvation. All of these able to turn someone into the cursed Wendigo.
Doesn't that make it a physical creature if it possesses someone?
Can't you shut your bloody gob? Ahem. The Wendigo is forced to roam the snowy woods forever, hunting any human who is alone or lost in the woods. However, its hunger for human flesh never being satiated, forever starving. The one way of killing a Wendigo is for a shaman to either stab or shoot the Wendigo with iron, steel, or silver knives or bullets. Some legends have said that to fully kill a Wendigo, the shaman would need to cut out the heart of the beast and either melt or burn the heart completely. The Wendigo represents a ton of fears of the native people, such as starving to death, perishing from the cold environment, getting lost in a storm, or being attacked by a wild animal. Though, there are lots of values to be taken from the cautionary tale of the Wendigo. It disapproves of greed and gluttony. It encourages the natives to share food and shelter, having community, and to not wander far from a tribe, or they will suffer a frigid fate. Each of these monsters that we have explored shares a lot about the type of values and fears each culture and time period had.
So how can they be similar?
Well, the fear they have in common is the fear of death, as well as the value of the golden rule. For Fenrir, it fears the possibility of being viciously attacked by a wild animal or trusted companion. But it teaches the value of trust and not to betray others, or you will suffer a terrible end. For the Awizotl, it is shown their fear of drowning, either by accident or caused by some sort of animal. It teaches to be vigilant and to trust your instincts, or otherwise be promised a watery fate. And for the Wendigo, it fears freezing and starving to death. In the climate in which the natives were in mostly colder regions, this fear was greatly emphasized. This would teach the values of selflessness and community, or else transform into a greater, demented evil. From these stories and examples, it is clear to see the true similarities between these monsters.
Yeah. I didn't get it.
I swear. You know what? I should have done this a long while ago.
What did you do?
Ahem. And maybe we can learn a little something from these old tales. Something of which can benefit everyone. And those unlucky few.